I got this, guys. What's up, fandom? It's me, your boy, Jesse and Okalia, here with my co-host, Jason Simpson.
Yo.
And we have our guest today, Josh Cain, former host of the show. What's up, Josh?
It's good. Great to be here. Great to be here, guys.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to be here. So, Josh, you had a subject you wanted to bring to us today on the show. Before we do that, let's get into good farts. That was a good fart. Good fart.
I don't have that on the soundboard. I don't have. I've got the Waterworld theme. Like I could play Waterworld if you want.
I have a question, Josh.
Yes.
What situation has called for the Waterworld theme to be used on a soundboard?
Whatever it is, I love it.
When you need something that's like dramatic but also fun.
You know what? That's fair.
And
That's fair.
reviled.
I forgot about the stunt show.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those you need. It's the best movie based off of a theme park attraction that there's ever been.
I don't know. Dwayne Johnson's The Jungle Cruise coming up this year.
That's out so far. You know what? I will reserve judgment. I've not seen Jungle Cruise yet. I assume that's what that will be in French.
That is how it's pronounced. Yes.
Thank you. All right, so guys, today we're going to be talking about Invincible.
Yeah.
Or
Agreed.
and that's when hopefully editor Josh will go and put like the Invincible logo right across the screen.
Is this being recorded? Should I? Okay. Right. Never mind. I'm back. Hi. Sorry. My brain went all over the place for a second. It's hot.
It's very hot everywhere. Guys, you want to talk about shoes?
No.
Man, it's a hot one.
I want us to get going. Let's go.
See, Jess, that's what I'm talking about. He comes in and he wants to take over the anyway, so let's talk about Invincible.
Yeah.
How had you guys heard about Invincible? Like, did you know about the comic beforehand? Was it more of a somebody told you to watch this show type of thing?
I'll start. A friend of mine said, and we talk about pop culture all the time. We text each other all the time, and he says, "Hey, you got to watch Invincible. It's this great show on Amazon." And I said, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "It's a cartoon," and I went, "No." I check out immediately. I've been burnt by just terrible cartoons, so I don't watch a whole lot of them, and which is maybe weird given what I do for a living. But I thought I'm going to try it, and I had to admonish myself because boy, was it good. Really good.
Yeah. What about you, Jesse?
I had never heard of it before in my life, but I am really, really burnt out on every other superhero property in the world right now. And when we got Prime, we watched all of the Tick in like 3 days, maybe. I watched all of The Boys in a couple days, and I was like, oh shit, Amazon has superhero content I'm kind of into. Because like it's a dissection of the whole trope. And then once Invincible dropped, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'd heard about it from a couple podcasts because I listened to a lot of Earwolf stuff with like Jason Mantzoukas in it, and he was pushing it. And I thought like, oh, well, let's give it a watch. And first episode didn't hook me for the first like 15 minutes, but then we got to the meat of the show, if you will. And,
literally and figuratively.
Yes, thank you. That was the joke, Joshua. And I was like, oh shit, I got to keep going on this.
Nice. I've had this for a couple years now, and I've got two other ones. So like I knew about Invincible. And it's a good series. Like I enjoy reading it. I was a little bit concerned about what all they were going to do for a series, just because this is the entire first season. It's not that long of a comic.
Interesting.
And it doesn't feel like this could be 8 episodes worth of content, especially 8 45-minute episodes worth of content.
Question.
Yes.
What we see in the last episode, or maybe the big reveal, is that in that, or was that made for television?
That's in this.
Okay.
It's not as in depth.
Right.
And that's what I like about the show. So if you are a fan of the comic, it expands on the original comic so much.
Interesting. I was going to ask because I have no experience with the comic at all. How does it stack for you as a fan of the comic?
It's basically, it is almost page for page what the comic is. It's a very faithful representation, and the stuff that they add makes enough sense and fleshes out more of the story than you would ever get. And I thoroughly enjoy that.
Cool.
It's really good.
Very, very interesting.
When you were reading it, did you I don't know if people do this. Did you have celebrity voices in mind? Is that or any voices whatsoever, and did it sort of match the casting?
Oh no, not at all. Like usually when I do books and stuff, I try to, especially like if it's like a Harry Potter. Like I didn't read Harry Potter until after the movie came out.
Interesting.
So then it was like, so I had all of those character voices in my head as I read the series. This, I would be interested in going back and reading it again since the show came out and checking and trying that with all the voices in this.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't know what I had when I did this comic wise. I mean, because like if I read a Batman, it's usually Kevin Conroy's voice if it's going to be a Batman, you know. So it's like if I kind of have, you know, like some animated stuff that I like move throughout my, you know, different, you know, comic books and stuff that I read. But yeah, I don't know. This one I didn't have anybody. But we can kind of I'm going to spin off of that and let's talk about the voice cast because freaking phenomenal. Well done, Amazon.
Yeah, I think so too.
Amazing. I'm gonna butcher names, so get ready, kids.
I'm excited. Go for
We've got Stephen Yeun as Mark Grayson.
Yes.
J.K. Simmons as Nolan Grayson.
Yes.
Yep.
Sandra Oh as Debbie Grayson.
Okay.
We've got Greg Griffin as Monster Girl and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah, she plays Monster Girl and the other one on the with the glasses.
Yeah, the shrink ray or something.
Glasses.
Reduce
glasses.
Reduce.
Lady.
Reduction something.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Kevin Michael Richardson being a boss.
This was interesting, being the twins. He was the twins. Very, very similar to Clancy Brown. And I know the difference between the two, but every time I heard him talk, my brain went to Clancy Brown. So that threw me off a little bit, but that's just me.
I liked most of the voice cast. I thought at times it got a little like, I mean, you guys, I'm certain know the feel you get when you watch celebrities do voiceover, and at times I got that a little bit from some of the cast, but that's not to say that, like, you know, I felt like Zachary Quinto is really good as Robot.
Yeah.
But I also didn't think it was Zachary Quinto for most of the show. Like in my head, that was oh God.
Walt Goggins is a great actor. To see him on
love
screen,
him as an actor.
He's fantastic. As Stedman, I think he was poorly cast.
I think so too. I think he was really flat for Stedman.
Very flat the entire time.
I love, like, the thing with Walton Goggins that I really love is that he's a brilliant character performer.
Yeah.
And if you take away his ability to be a character, all you're doing is you're going with like low-key, lightly Southern voice.
That's right.
The one that to me was kind of the worst that I didn't feel fit the character at all. I was not feeling it was Hamill. Like Mark Hamill as the Taylor guy. I was like, no, this was, to me, it was the worst.
Interesting.
Like I think I'm with you on that, Josh. I think it was like, again, I like Mark Hamill a fair bit as a voice artist, but I also feel like every so often it'll be like, oh, we have Luke Skywalker in our show.
Yes. And this was just like, we have the Joker, except he's just not as crazy. And that's what it was the entire
sad and
time.
Tired.
Exactly. And I was like, no.
Oh, man, I felt the opposite of that. I really liked that guy.
Whereas I thought J.K. Simmons was probably the best choice. Like of the cast, like I thought he was the best.
Really good. I mean, I kept thinking, like the thing I loved about J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man was he was always terrifying in every scene he was in.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
J.K. does such a great job with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just me picking nits. I feel like I wish we'd gotten a little bit more of him being like, you know, doting in disguise father type. So when we get the reveal of him being, you know, King Nasty, all of a sudden it hits that much harder because like he was always threatening. He was always terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that the way they drew him, he just had those steely eyes. He always had that power.
That's true.
And they gave us that hint right at the beginning that he could be this nefarious evil dude. So it was always planted in our brain.
Of course.
Echo that, oh, is this guy a murderer and a bad guy? So
and then lo and behold.
This is a hot take that everyone will disagree with. I absolutely know that, but I don't think Jason Mantzoukas was right for that role whatsoever. I think he's fantastic. He has a great voice, but not for that.
I think it's interesting with Mantzoukas in that role because I think he's brilliant. I love his work just in just about everything he does. He's fucking hilarious. I think it was kind of a stretch for that character to be 16. And with Mantzoukas' voice. But I also think that's just a trend in like especially adult animation right now that comedians just tend to play teenagers with their own voices, which is fine.
Did I miss something? Did Rex Blode was supposed to be 16?
He was 16. Wasn't
he? Because he's dating Eve.
Yeah,
they're both still in high school. He drops out of school.
I thought
he'd I mean, he could be a little older. He
could be like 17, 18.
Yeah, but
I thought he was 16.
Even if he's 19, we'll just say like he still doesn't. No, yeah, it doesn't really fit him.
It didn't work.
I think partially for me too. Like I hear Jason Mantzoukas' voice and I ping to like him on Comedy Bang Bang or him on How Did This Get Made or him on literally any other podcast I listen to keep my brain quiet during the day. And he's just such a distinct, recognizable voice to me that he was a little tricky for me as Rex Blode as well. So I'm not with you, Jay.
Shrinking Ray, by the way, was the name. Shrinking Ray, which is cool, which is weird because like I mean it's cool because like Ray is actually a guy in the comic, so they changed. They do a lot of changing around. There's a couple of genders that they change. His girlfriend, Amber, she's white in the comic. But is like barely in it and is extremely boring. So I like that they changed her and fleshed her out and actually gave her something.
I love this. Amber I really liked her.
Yeah, like it made the character way better because in the comic she's just like this blonde like cheerleader loser that no one cares about. She's in like 4 scenes and that's basically it. And you're like, oh well, why are we here?
That's unfortunate.
Oh no, she was great. She was great.
Oh yeah, she's phenomenal.
I love Michael Dorn. I love Klingons. I would have rather seen Mahershala Ali in that Battle Beast role because I think he was just really underused and he's just got that great voice. Michael Dorn has an iconic voice. It just wasn't. It wasn't
landing.
No, it just wasn't big and tough enough for that. Anyway,
there was little things like that where I wasn't. Like it wasn't bad. It was just not what it could be.
The casting?
Yeah, at times, yeah.
Or are you talking in general or something specific?
I mean, kind of in general, like you know, with the Michael Dorn role, or like the Mantzoukas role, or the oh god, I'm forgetting names. Walton Goggins role, like. I feel like the voices were fine.
Sure.
The performances were good across the board. I think they were, you know, some standouts, some less than standout.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I thought they were okay. And I just feel like had they been a little less beholden to like celebrity casting,
yeah,
I think there could have been some really, really like fucking standout work.
I don't know about you guys, but when Robot goes human and turns into Rudy, they've got Ross
Marquand is him. Yes,
Marquand. I didn't really dig that. I thought he was fine as the immortal, but like I didn't really dig. We're gonna kind of talk a little monotone the entire time, and this is how I am because I used to be a robot.
Can I tell you, Josh?
Yeah.
I thought Zach Quinto was Ross Marquand the entire time. I was watching the show and going, oh, Ross Marquand's in this. Okay, I like him. And then I paused it and I saw X-Ray and I saw Zachary Quinto and I'm like, what?
I feel like Ross Marquand could actually play all of these characters. I mean, the guy's a brilliant impressionist, so let him have a crack at all these characters.
I mean, and that's what I was kind of like. That's what they went with, and that was the thing that kind of like threw me a little bit. And I'm like, maybe he'll evolve because like there's parts with Monster Girl and Rudy, something happens. I'm not going to spoil the comic or the show, but something happens and there's some time that goes by. So I'm interested to see how he's going to do like older Rudy.
Probably very well. Would be
that's what I'm hoping for. Cause I'm like, it'll be nice if we get away from kind of like the monotoneness and then we can get a little bit of emotion in there. And who knows, maybe, by season 2, he'll get a little bit of emotion because he's, not all robot anymore.
I mean, again, though, with Zachary Quinto as Robot, I thought there was always that little hint of something, like he was never completely innocent.
Yeah.
And I liked that a lot. And I thought Ross Marquand brought that to Boy Robot pretty well. And I think it just kind of came across as monotone. But my suspicion is, and this is, of course, entirely off the fucking dome, my suspicion would be that, he heard Zachary Quinto, or, they played him Zachary Quinto, and they were like, okay, just, do this.
Right.
Because he's an impressionist. He's a brilliant fucking impressionist, as Jason was saying. So part of me is like, oh, this is probably exactly what happened. Is, they asked Ross Marquand to do an impression of Zachary Quinto as Robot, and he did.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the action-y scenes for the show? I mean, there's a couple of them.
There's a few.
Yeah,
one or two. In the show.
I thought they were pretty relentless and brutal, and which is what I love in an action movie. And in a cartoon and animation, they can get away with a whole bunch of stuff and a lot easier. I mean, that whole are we? Did you say we're not trying to spoil stuff? We're not.
No, we're spoiling. Yeah, spoil it all.
When Invincible comes crashing down and takes out that entire street and just mothers and children just getting demolished and blood and guts and eyeballs, that's some good television.
Yeah,
I was gonna say one of my favorite scenes in this entire show was the Omni-Man Invincible fight on the subway, because that was just so absolutely brutal. And the reason, not to sidetrack entirely off of the topic, but the reason I'm so burnt out on superhero media is there's no consequences to any of it.
True.
Or if there are, their consequences beholden only to the 4 important people in the universe. And
we're going to mention it for 5 seconds in the next movie. That's basically how it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, there was a fun blip. Now everyone's back. I see you, Spider-Man Far From Home. I see you. And I just feel like those consequences are what make it interesting. A good friend of mine on Twitter pointed out something that I thought was really interesting, that didn't really occur to me until I thought about it more. We as action fans love it when our hero is beaten to a fucking pulp and then fights his way back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing interesting to me about seeing a pristine hero continue to kick ass nonstop throughout all circumstances. But it's so much more interesting to me when that guy gets absolutely shit canned and then has to fight his way back, like a John Wick, or like
Dutch in Predator.
Like Dutch in exactly, or like Rambo, or like the guys who would just get
Blood,
absolutely totaled and then be like, I need to keep going. Rocky, absolutely. Really, any Stallone character.
Yeah, any
Stallone just likes to get beat up a lot.
He does. God bless him.
Kind of going with that Invincible and Omni-Man fight, like that happens in the comic, but that whole like subway scene that doesn't exist.
Brilliant.
So like all of the different things they added in here, like that fight is maybe like 8 pages and that's it. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, like. And really, like they put so much in there, and like they give you, because we get the death of the our heroes like in the first episode, right? That's the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen until like I pulled it up because like I was checking stuff. Like that's the middle of this book. Like that's I just pulled it. That's here. That's how far we are to get into this.
So is it a lot of character development up to that point?
Not really. There's not really a lot of character development in this. But that whole entire it's mainly Invincible show. So I mean, like that's what it is.
Sure.
That whole bit with them teaming up and getting what's his face in charge of what is it? Getting the dude that was he was working for the gangster guy, the robot face man, Machine Head.
Yeah.
Right.
That whole storyline that's invented for the show so far.
I like that storyline a lot, though.
Yeah, that's not in the first volume of the comic.
I wanted more of that. I like that story a lot. I was hoping to see a little bit more of that, like, because again, like I like the gritty, the more like street level superheroes as opposed to like, the rich kid from the suburbs.
Yeah.
I was really excited to hear more of like the Machine Head and the Machine Head storyline. And I'm so happy it resolved the way it did, because I think that'll be really interesting for the next couple seasons or season.
Yeah, like there's a whole, and like there's stuff that they don't include, which I think is fine. Like there's this whole bit with Black Samson's butler, who like takes his suit and like tries to like beat up Omni-Man at the funeral for everybody, because he's like, you guys did this to my employer, blah 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 blah. The guy gets put in jail, and it's like that. It's kind of a dumb bit that they didn't even include, and I'm like, good. It doesn't really do anything in the comic. You don't have to include everything. So, yeah, that's why I was really concerned, because I'm like, there's not a whole bunch that you could make for this show. But they did a really good job of it, and I'm very happy with how the entire thing turned out.
Well, let me ask you, Josh, because you're a fan of the comics and the pre-existing.
Also no Mars either. That didn't happen.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in this book.
Well, I guess I needed to flesh the plot out.
Yeah. We're definitely setting us up for future stuff.
Yes. Was there anything in the show, because you're a big fan of the show, you like the comic as well, was there anything in the show that you didn't like that they added?
I'm trying to think. This episode is brought to you by Better Host. Do you need a better host for your podcast? Go to betterhost.com. Use code Fandom10 at checkout to get 10% off your consultation. Yeah, no, I mean, not really. They did a lot that I really enjoyed. Like there wasn't anything that I felt they needed to do extra. The stuff that they added, I thought was the best part about the entire show. It definitely fleshes things out. Um, so yeah, honestly, I can't think of anything that I was like, grr, um, on. So
no gur args.
yeah, no grr args.
That's interesting. Because like I thinking about the show in general, and like again comparing it to my other two faves from Amazon, sure, The Tick and The Boys. The Invincible was not. I feel like it's not as strong as The Boys, but there was so much I really did like, and I wish I wish we had just gotten a little bit more. I remember the last episode ending, and I was like, "This is it. This is it for season 1. Where's the rest?"
Yeah, it's weird. Like I understand again without going where we're going.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say like the space alien guys.
Yeah.
They play a very major role later.
Okay.
Like what I was talking about with Robot and Monster Girl. Yeah, it's basically what happens is they go back there.
Like Martian Man?
No, the I forgot what like the ones
Seth Rogen
that
alien.
No, the little alien guys that can't breathe.
Oh, the ones that like keep grabbing.
Yeah, they keep coming on and murdering like New York, and then
oh those guys, yeah.
Those guys, I can't remember what they're called. But that is a whole bit where the two of them go there and it's like, what do? We got to escape, but do we want to escape? Type of it. It's a whole thing, and that is a whole plot by itself.
Interesting.
And we're gonna get a lot of the Viltrumites coming, and that's
really?
Another.
I never
that's
would have
another.
Guessed that. I thought they were done with.
That's a yeah. You would think.
I would think so.
Yeah. So there's stuff coming that I can see why they ended it here. I can see where they'll end next season, but I don't see if they do a season 3, I don't see where they're gonna end season 3 because there's so much.
Is the comic still running?
Yes, they did a reboot recently.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but it's a weird like in-universe reboot. So like they kind of know that they rebooted. Well, it's strange. Like I haven't kept up with it. Like I did my 3 and then I kind of fell off for a while. And then when I heard that they were making a series, I was like, I'll read my 3 comics again. And I just haven't gone in because they don't make this Ultimate Collection anymore. They stopped. So now it's in a different bunch of like omnibuses. And I'm like, I don't want to get new omnibuses.
Oh, cool.
So
it's nice to have that then.
Yeah. So I'm like, ooh, it's pretty. And it's leather.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty.
What was I going to ask you? My assumption is the what are they called?
Viltrumites. The Vegemites. You can call them Vegemites. It's okay.
Vegemites every once in a while. If you get a whole planet of those dudes hell bent on taking over your planet, considering what Omni-Man can do, there's no way to stop them.
Nope. But so, I do like what they do with his character. Like they do it a little bit in the comics, but like I think they flesh him out so much more in the show. Omni-Man. Yeah. Okay. I think that because I mean they do a good job of kind of like you do kind of like see it from his perspective too. Like you get that empathizing with your antagonist villain, and it's like, I can see where he's coming with this. And it's not technically a bad plan. What he says does make some sense. Not all the killing, but it's like, if they the killing not so much.
Careful, like, Josh, you're getting into Thanos was right territory over here.
I've not seen either of those movies, so I don't know anything about that.
You're good. So Grimace tries to take over the Earth. End of story.
I'm sure it works out well for him.
Yeah,
and Captain America's like, I don't want to go back or something like that. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
But you when he's talking to like right before the infamous meme speech, when he's first talking to him, and he's like, they'll get all this medical technology, all this really cool stuff if they join the Empire. All they have to do is join, and like their lives will be so much better. The ones that survive, that is. But like their lives are going to be so much better. And it's kind of like, we've done stupid stuff for less. And I'm kind of like, what would our individual countries do? Like if they were like given like an ultimatum at the UN, like it made me think, because I was like, I wonder what they would do. Would the US be like, you know what? Sounds good. World peace.
I guarantee you they would not do that with the amount of arms sales they do.
That's fair. But they could get on the ground floor of all that medical sales.
That's fair, but I feel like they make a lot more money in guns.
Yeah, that's true. I could see the Viltrumites just like taking out America. It's like, I don't want to deal with that.
Immediately, just like,
yeah, it's like they've got this thing called Texas down there. We don't want to touch that. Like, just let's nuke it from orbit. Yeah, it's like, get rid of that. What about you guys? Did you guys have any certain scenes that you were like, or any certain like, bits of story that you were like, yeah, I really like this part, where it makes a lot of sense?
Jason, do you want to go?
I'm just thinking about a couple things, but
yeah, go for it. Oh,
no,
sure. I don't know. I keep flashing back to like Mark at college with William and with Amber. Like, I loved that whole sequence.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really telling that Walton Goggins' character recruited the robot nerd. But I really liked that whole sequence, and I liked any opportunity for Mark to get to be a regular teen. I also, kind of on the flip side of that, I fucking loved what was his name? The demon detective.
Damien Darkblood.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. God, he's named like a bad D&D character. I love it.
Yeah. Clancy Brown.
He
basically is. He's a tiefling detective, and that is his role.
I loved him. I was waiting for him to like face off with Omni-Man, and then I was disappointed that it didn't get to happen. But
Mr. Crab.
Yeah. Mr. Krabs versus J. Jonah Jameson at long last.
Yeah.
It's the fight we've all wanted.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, we lose.
I personally loved, and I actually watched it, not the entire thing twice, but I had to go back and watch it because it was just so great. I love the demolition scene in Machine Head's office when Battle Beast and they just start cleaning house.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a comeuppance, and then okay, we're ready, let's do this, and then they get knocked back down again, and there's more blood spilled and faces crushed, and yeah, that was great. I mean, that was a no holds barred. We are not taking mercy as the creators on any of these good characters, the heroes. There's just decimation.
You know what, Jesse? I just had a thought. So you had asked me before. Sorry to go back in time. You had asked me before if there was something in the comic that wasn't in the show or something in the show that I didn't like. It's the telling of, because like in the comic, it's this whole bit where when he tells Mark for the first time about the Viltrumites.
Yeah.
Then during the fight, he basically tells the exact same story again. Instead of what I told you was true, but it's like we got in the show. In the comic, it's like a whole like literal, almost word for word beginning and end, except there are certain little things that get changed.
Oh, interesting.
And it's so well done. And I'm like, I kind of wish they would have done that. But I mean, I can, like, in a comic that works a lot better than I feel like it would be, done in a show. Cause then it's just, Mark listening to his dad say almost the exact same thing again and probably tuning that out. But like in the comic, it worked really well.
I don't know, man. I feel like that would have been really interesting to watch. Because like you'd get different imagery to it or different whatever. Like that's an awfully experimental choice for a mainstream animated series for adults to make. But it reminds me of like not exactly in practice, of course, but it reminds me of like Shin Godzilla, where we get to see all of these decisions being made, and we get to slowly understand that these people have no fucking clue what they're doing while Godzilla is attacking the country, but they're still acting like they know what they're doing. So we've got kind of this cognitive dissonance between the two narratives. But I feel like that could be a really interesting choice. It's like the same story, but little changes. You're like, oh, this is nefarious, actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I mean, I also love the way that they actually draw Omni-Man in this. His eyes are open, whereas in the show, his eyes are basically closed the entire time.
Well, he might get bugs in them,
I guess, but like,
he flies so fast, get bug in him.
Here, if you can see, this is great for the audio people, but like if you can see, like his eyes are like closed the entire time. They do not stay open, so he is very mechanical a lot. So it gives you a lot of that. Oh yeah, no, he's dad, but he's also like Omni-Man first and like dad second type of guy. So
I jumped out for a second there.
We were just talking about how Omni-Man's eyes are always closed
in the comic.
In the comic,
right?
And it does. I think it does work a little bit better in the comic too, because like he doesn't turn until like halfway through. So like there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So like Mark's already invincible by this time. So he's already doing stuff. Yeah. Like I think the way it goes, like Mark's at college when, or they're doing the college bit when Omni-Man kills everybody. So like it's further along in the story.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers. Whatever. Show's been out for a year. It's not, but
it's been out for a year.
It's been out for like 2 months.
Oh, that makes more sense.
I think it's one of those, like, I'm not sure that we can talk about the story without talking about the meme speech that is everywhere right now that I love.
Right.
Everybody's doing it and it's perfect. I'm enjoying all of them whenever I see it, because I'm like, there are some that are doing just like pasting like the heads of whoever on top, but then there are other people that are like drawing that scene and like animating that scene as like something else, and I'm like, you guys have done very well. Well done.
Well done. And I saw those memes before I saw the show.
Me too.
So I was looking forward to seeing that part of the show, and it didn't disappoint.
What did you guys think about that speech? I think it's one of the best parts of the series. Like if we're gonna get any sort of like crazy amount of crazy acting, I think JK like brought it, and he should probably win something for that. Like,
do you remember when the
give him something?
You remember when the pictures came out of JK in full flex mode in the gym, working out for a role
with his beard? Yeah. And you're like, biceps, dang, son.
Ripped. I'm like, okay, dude got pumped for this role.
It was just this speech.
I mean, he just had to do it because he's a method actor. And for this kind of speech, you can just see him just flexing. Oh, yeah, that was a powerful speech.
Well, he heard that they were gonna do Invincible, and he was like, superhero, and then they were like, oh, by the way, it's animated. He's like, I got swole for nothing.
I think it's for Tomorrow War, because you see him in the ads, and he's
that's right.
Oh, that's out.
I think that
also streaming on Amazon Prime.
Hey, conveniently.
Brought to you by Amazon Prime, not a sponsor.
Please do. Jeff, you listening? Give us money, please.
Yeah.
I watched that speech and I was expecting my heart to be torn out by it, because just everyone was like, oh, this is the most impassioned, beautiful thing I've ever seen. So I came into it with incredibly high expectations, which were not met. But at the same time, I recognize it as like technically a really, really beautiful piece of work from J.K. Simmons, but I was just so like, I was so fucking done with Omni, man. I'm like, dude, go fucking die in a river, man. Like, I don't want to hear your excuses. You're a fucking abusive piece of shit. I don't give a shit what you think. I am done with you, dude.
I feel like he could have turned Mark if he didn't say his mom was a pet.
I know.
That's where it turns, because like Mark during that bit, because like I'm not gonna lie, I watched the last 2 episodes like right before we started this.
Yeah.
And so like you see Mark and he's just kind of down, but then when he's like, your mom's like a pet, that's when like it's like ding, that's when he kind of goes off and you know like they're my friends, humanity, you're not gonna enslave them. And I'm like, shouldn't have done the pet thing. No, if you don't do the pet thing, you probably get him.
Here's the thing, right? Like had he been able to turn Mark, I would have just been like, fuck season 2, not interested. Because for me, what was really interesting is that Mark is, you know, this half human, half Viltrumite who is more human than anything else. And that's what makes him interesting to me. You know, I'm so interested in this, like this poor kid who has had responsibility thrust upon him, doesn't even want, like he wants it, but then he realizes how big of a fucking hassle it is.
I like the idea of a dad doing evil, nefarious things, trying to convince his child who has, you know, similar powers to do the exact same thing. And the child maybe does, maybe doesn't. I like that idea. And you have to wait till like another season to see if maybe that happens.
I like the idea of one of those kids being a little more human. Anyway, watch The Dragon Prince on Netflix. It's 3 seasons. It's like 9 episodes a season, so it's like a 3-hour binge. You'll get through it, no problem.
Sponsored by Amazon Prime.
And there's like
Amazon Prime.
There's like 7 more seasons or something coming. I don't know. I don't watch the show. Yeah, check that out. It's also on Amazon Prime.
No.
It's not on there. It's on.
I have a
It's
feeling
on the other one, Hulu.
Maybe it's Tubby, or Tubi, whatever it's called.
Oh, I love Tubi though. Tubi's my favorite streaming service.
It's on UPN Plus.
USA Network. That seems like a USA Network kind of show. USA at night. Okay, I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just digging in too deep, but I feel like that pet line was a trigger. And I don't know if Omni-Man actually means that so much. I mean, we see that whole baseball flashback, and that's that one little pulling at the heartstrings.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if it's the same gameplay that they pulled when people were murdered, and we don't know if he's bad or not. And then when we find out he is, I wonder if he's trying to do something else, and he wasn't trying to turn Mark, but to piss Mark off enough to become bigger, stronger. That's true,
because his whole game is to make him better than him.
Yeah, because maybe he doesn't like what he is and doesn't like what the Viltrumites have to do. I don't know. That was my initial thought. I wanted it to be something like that.
That's an interesting thought. I hadn't considered that.
You'll just have to wait and see.
God damn it, Josh.
I mean, I could spoil the whole show for you right now. Like, do you want me to tell you what happens?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not that invested. The Boys season 3 is coming out before that, and that's going to be all I'm going to talk about for that month.
We were gonna do a Boys episode, but somebody didn't like it. I'm not gonna name Jason's, but
I get it. I get it.
I didn't like season 2 as much as season 1.
I agree.
The way that you had, and forgive me, it may be me reading messages not correctly and not and not getting your humor. But I felt that you didn't like 2 and you were done with it. Like you were done with the show.
I didn't like 2 as much as 1. And there were most of 2 I didn't like.
I think that's fair critique.
Now,
yes, I can.
I know someone who auditioned for season 3. So I know some things. And
was it Jensen Ackles?
It was not. It was not.
It was Paula Burrows.
It was not that either. It wasn't me. But anyways, I know some things. I'm like, oh, I really want to see that now.
There you go.
Now listen, I watched Jupiter's Descent.
Oh yeah,
Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter. No, the
Jupiter
superhero
Legacy.
one. Jupiter's Legacy. Jupiter
Right.
Legacy. And I watched that entire thing, and the boys, Invincible, hands and shoulders and feet and the whole entire body above that. That show was terrible. These were good. These superhero shows.
Jupiter's Legacy. I got a screener for that from Netflix. I got to the part, spoilers for that show, whatever, who cares? No one watched it. That's why it got canceled. I got to the part where he was like in the Dust Bowl area and like
Oh, you got quite a ways.
Yeah, and then I stopped because I was like, I don't care anymore. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, I've put like 6 hours into this show. I already don't like it. I don't care. I'm sure the son's gonna be a bad guy just because that's the way that they're playing this. They're like putting their cards on the table, being like, the girl who is the daughter who is kind of an outcast, who is like rebelling against her parents, she will become good girl, and a boy who wants to be in father's footsteps will become bad boy. And I was just like, no, I don't. You laying it on really thick. I don't care. And the uncle's probably the bad guy because he seems like a bad guy.
I didn't watch
Do you
it.
want me to spoil it for you?
I'm not gonna watch that show. I'm not gonna say anything bad about it.
On all accounts. Did you get to when he's in the house though in the Dust Bowl? Did you get?
Yes,
to
that's where I stopped.
Oh, Kurtwood Smith was like one of the best parts of the show. Just crazy farmer.
Oh, Kurtwood Smith
Yeah.
is in it?
for a little
for
cameo,
like 10 minutes.
and he's fantastic. And then I'm like, oh, here we go back to the crap.
Okay.
It's the worst part. And like they do this thing where they're like, we're gonna be cool and make it, hop between different timelines. But then when they hop through different timelines, you're like, I don't want to be in this timeline. Go back to the other one. Just stay in the depression timeline because I don't care about what the current timeline is. It sucks.
It's full of bad fake beards and hair.
Oh God, it's bad.
So bad. Like, yeah. I couldn't do better, but I'm going to sit here in judgment of that.
Yeah. Anyway, be sure and listen to our episode on Jupiter's Legacy coming.
That was it. We just did it.
That was it. Hope you enjoyed that. You got 2 for the price of 1, guys. You got a Jupiter's Legacy episode and you got Invincible. And we'll talk about The Boys later.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about The Boys, especially
like The
season
Boys.
1 of The Boys. Season 1 of The Boys.
I liked both seasons a lot. I mean, I liked 1 a whole lot more than I liked 2. And there was stuff in 2 where I was like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
But
stuff that just kind of little, like way over the top, but very entertaining. But just some of that eye rolling. Get on with it.
yeah, there was a little bit of there were times where I was on my phone a whole lot.
Yeah. What
Josh,
about him?
You
Oh.
remember all the bad negative things I say.
Yes.
Do you remember what I didn't like about it? Because I forget.
About The Boys?
Season 2, yeah. What did I say that I didn't like?
I think there were some slow bits for you, which I completely
Yes.
agree with. The pacing is not that good.
Sure.
Right. Yep.
And it's very gratuitous. I think that was another thing that you may have said. Like there's gratuitous and they're not needing to be. Like,
Sure. And just to be clear for everyone listening, I love gratuitous,
yeah.
violent, gross stuff because I love the practical effects aspect of that.
Sure.
Right from the first time I saw the thing, I'm like, how do they do that? It's when stuff is over sexualized, and call me a prude if you want. I don't care. I'm just not into that. I want to see more of the story, and I want to see
You're
more
a prude,
of
Jason.
Yeah, fair enough.
Someone had to do it.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, like there's if you're gonna go kind of like crazy with the violence and everything and like the blood and the gore, do it like the train scene in Invincible. Like it's very impactful. Like the whole like him destroying
Literally.
Chicago. It's very well done. Whereas they blow up a whale in The Boys. What I mean, it's for was it funny? Like
Let's
was
say
that
this.
the reason?
When Superman and Zod destroy the city, and you see a lot of this close-up stuff of people. I mean, you don't actually see that. that looked cool, but it was not nearly as interesting as the train scene in Invincible.
Yeah.
It's still close up, it's still fast paced, but it had such a more impact.
It did have such a more impact.
I agree. Much more.
Like a whole subway train of impact.
Of impactfulness.
Yeah. What about Umbrella Academy?
I've not seen it.
If we're gonna put like, oh, okay, dang, I was about to say, if we're gonna put like kind of like these newer superhero, not DC Marvel stuff, kind of together, where would you kind of put in Umbrella Academy? But
probably like top 5. I don't know.
In the order of the stuff we've talked about.
Yeah, I say in order the stuff we talked about. So like, Invincible, Boys, Umbrella, and the other one.
I would put
Jupiter Legacy. Is that what you're talking about, John?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I would put Umbrella Academy number 1. Probably, because I'm a sucker for. I'd probably put The Boys second, and then Invincible and everything else. But those 2 and 3 might fluctuate. But
yeah,
Umbrella Academy is fantastic.
I completely agree. You should watch it, Jesse. First 2 seasons available on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. You mean where the Dragon Prince is streaming? All 3 seasons?
Exactly. Craziness.
Tubi.
Oh, I love Tubi, though.
Is that still around? That's gone now, right?
No.
They got rid of that.
I have the app on my
No,
TV
it is
and I have
around
like-
forever,
Oh.
Josh. It's not going anywhere.
I don't even know what it does.
It's where I can see all the Andy Sedaris films anytime I want.
Are they all on there?
They are all on there.
What am I
I'm going.
thinking of?
I'm going tonight.
I'm
Well,
thinking
probably.
of Quibi.
Quibi is gone.
Quibi's
is
gone.
long gone.
That sounds like a place you go to
Tubi's
argue with
owned by
people.
Fox, and it's
Okay.
basically YouTube but with actual TV.
Quibi sounds like a dating site a dating app where you'd argue with people.
That's most dating sites
It's
for me.
close. Okay, so Jason, here's people stopped listening like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Here's
they're done.
Quibi. Here's Quibi, Jason. So we're gonna have a whole entire channel that is built around 15-minute episodes. That is Quibi.
10-minute episodes.
10-minute
Of what?
episodes.
Because they're
of-
Quibbies. They're quick bites.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what Quibi
So
is.
you're gonna get like, once a week, but you're gonna get it like, 10 minutes at a time.
So it's all original content, but they're just small.
Yep. So just all small little things.
I'm out.
And well, you weren't the only one.
I didn't even open the door. I'm out.
Yeah, you weren't even in.
I didn't even get out of my car.
Okay. So what would you guys rank this this series? Would you how do we do it? We do a pass where you just don't want to do it at all? Would you stream this season? Would you rent this season, or would you buy this season? So
Strong stream.
Strong
Yeah,
stream.
same.
I wouldn't pay more money to watch it.
Yeah, I wouldn't seek it out necessarily, but because it shows up when I'm, finished an episode of Alf, then I'm in.
I would give it a rent only because I know what's coming, and I'm
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fair.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I respect that for sure.
No, me
Like-
too, because it's making me more interested in the next season.
Yeah, like there's a lot. There's stuff that's gonna happen, and it's gonna be good stuff, and I'm really excited for the good stuff to happen. So
It's like when I got through like 6 seasons of The Walking Dead, which I loved, and it got a little weird and slow, and then I started reading the comics, and I got to like book 11, and I could see all these things that had happened, and then I'm like, oh, this hasn't happened yet, and that intrigued me, and so I kept watching in the hopes that these things in the comics would happen. So I get that.
And then they never happened.
yeah,
of them
and
did
then
not
and then
happen,
you
I'm
were
so
like,
in.
Carol's still alive?
Oh, I like Carol though.
Yeah, but she dead a long time ago. She died
Yeah,
like book 5.
a lot of people dead long time ago.
You know who didn't die? Sophia. They left her alive for a long time. I think she's still alive in the comics. I haven't read that in years.
Yeah, I'm long done with the comics.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on with me. This was quite fun.
Yeah.
We should do it
This
again
was a
sometime.
good time.
As
Thank you
always.
for having me.
Thanks everybody who stuck around and listened to us. See, Jason, you don't have to take over the show because, like I said, tangents. We just do them. I do those by myself. Where can everybody find you guys social media wise? Interesting. You
I don't want anyone to follow me. Yes, I am on Twitter at @aboysimpson and on Instagram at Simstagrams.
Nice.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitch. I never use it. Don't follow me. Twitter at JInocalia, JINOCALLA.
Nice. And anything other than the Dragon Prince, which you can watch all 3 episodes or all 3 seasons of on Netflix now. Anything that you guys or can talk about that's coming up that you're allowed to talk about? That is
painting a lot of miniatures right now. That's fun for me.
Ooh.
I had a fun little movie come out last month called Rock Dog 2. That's
yeah, you were in that.
Yeah, kind of fun.
Nice. Are they still doing the My Little Pony little 5-minute episode things?
It's possible.
I just saw something about Phil Lamar being cast in My Little Pony. So there's
a new generation coming up.
Oh yeah. The horses look weird.
Fuzzy. They look fuzzy.
The Weird Horse Show. I mean, it came out last year, but it's still worth talking about because it's cool. I did a VR game for a Japanese company called My Dearest. It's called Altdeus. I am your anime best friend in it. It is a visual novel, but it's got cool rhythm first-person shooter segments to it. So it's worth your time. It's fun, and it's a really, really good cast.
Nice. Now, which anime best friend are you? Are you perverted anime best friend? Or you glasses anime best friend?
No, I'm excited but dumb but kind of hot-headed anime best friend.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a stretch for me.
Does your character not wear their uniform to school regulation?
No, I mean they're all fighter pilots basically.
Oh, okay.
My guy's in a little crop top jacket, which is fun.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's fun. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Judd. Oh, and we'll put everybody's links and everything to their social in the show notes. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Cain. You can find the podcast on Instagram at What's Up Fandom, on Twitter at What's Up Fandom PC for podcasts. All of our episodes available iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and on our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Check us out on Twitch. We do stuff there. Maybe sometime by the time this episode comes up, maybe we'll do something. Who knows? You never know. You never know. There's a Dragon Prince game coming out. Maybe we'll play the Dragon Prince game. You never know. You never know. We did that with the Last Kids on Earth game. Who knows?
Maybe we'll just play some Mario Party. Maybe we'll play a big game of solitaire.
Party. Oh my gosh, they've got Uno on here. That would be fun if they had like war or something.
No, it would not, Josh.
You're right. It would be not fun. Watch me play Spider Solitaire on Twitch.
Minesweeper.
And thanks to 1 out of 10 for the intro and outro for this episode. Check them out. They're playing shows again in Glendale, so definitely go check them out if you are in the SoCal area over by DreamWorks and Disney animation place. Go there. That's there. They're playing shows again. Check them out on Spotify. And thanks to our sponsor, Wild Bill's Soda. Get yourself some delicious soda. Use code Fandom10 at checkout. They also have beef jerky now, guys. They got beef jerky.
Soda flavored? No, I'm serious. Do they
I'll have to look into that. I'm gonna guess no, because gross.
No, you get like a grape or a cola flavor in certain meat in beef jerky. Oh yeah, it's good. Anyway.
And on that bombshell, we're done because I don't want to continue after that. All right. So for What's Up Fandom, I'm Josh.
Go, Jesse.
Oh, I'm Jesse. Hello.
Hi, Jason.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Think, Jason. Think.
What?
I don't know. That was from the show.
I want it to be last.
I think that was from the show.
I'm not the leading authority on waxing poetic or using big words, but this writer is my philosophy about living in such a world.